James Fitzgerald joins us now, retired FBI supervisory special agent and criminal profiler. He worked to catch the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. He is co-host of the Cold Red podcast, where he really laid out much of what turned out to be true about this individual who's a suspect in this case, now deceased. James, welcome. Good to have you here. You know, when you hear from this individual who knew him, he talked about the fact that he felt that Brown shortchanged him, that it wasn't hard enough. He even complained about the food at Brown while he was there. And then it appears that he targets this MIT professor, also from Portugal, who was very successful, who he at one time went to school with as well. Tell me what all this adds up to for you, James.
Well, there's a lot going on here, and you mentioned Kaczynski in the Unabomber case. I do see some connection or linkage between the sort of personality Kaczynski had and this guy too, this Portuguese national. I don't use their names on the air in these contexts, but the point is, Kaczynski had a lot of anger in his Harvard days and later at his University of Michigan days. He thought the courses were too easy and they weren't challenging for him. The difference, Kaczynski finished his program, got his PhD, taught for a few years at Berkeley. But like Kaczynski, this guy, the Brown shooter and the MIT professor shooter, he was a grievance collector. Sometimes people only go a few weeks to a few months. And by the way, that's a term psychologists, threat assessors came up with a few years ago. They collect these grievances, mentally speaking, and they foment for weeks, months. And in my profile that I had shared with others last week, I said it could have gone even years. I don't think anyone would say it would have gone on for a quarter of a century, but that's what it did with this guy. He held these issues, these problems. Brown was a representational target. He went into that classroom, that stadium type seating, and started shooting. I'm still not convinced. A real big coincidence. One of the few Republicans on campus was one of the victims. We'll let the investigation play out with that. But that was the representational target, Brown. And then, of course, the very personal, specific targeting was of the MIT professor. 25 years in the making, and his personality, his demeanor just couldn't reconcile all of these issues. And something kicked in the last month or two, and he had to start killing people.
Yeah. You know, it's striking that he chose this auditorium, which they say is one of the largest auditoriums of its kind on campus. And then I think back to the fact that this was the one building that wasn't really layered with cameras and security, and they left it open that day because of finals. We know that he was walking around the area prior to that. How much do you think he knew about the vulnerability of that particular location, James?
Yeah, you can't put it to luck at this point in time. He's clever enough to change out the SIM cards with some brand of phone that there was no real-time pinging or information that law enforcement could get. He's putting tags on top of, I think, a Florida tag on top of a Maine tag on the rental car, anything to disrupt any sort of investigative process. Using fake names, at least to do some things. I believe he used his real name to rent the car. But nonetheless, this guy was mission-oriented, and he knew what he had to get done. There's no doubt he cased this place. I'm sure it was even before that Saturday morning. We'll see, but there's no videos from that classroom, so we'll never really know. But he at least looked in there again. He knew there were no cameras in that room, I'm convinced.
Yeah, and so did the homeless former Brown graduate. You can't make the story up, really, who ended up identifying him. We'll see if he gets the $50,000 reward that many people believe that he deserves. James, thank you very much. Always good to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.